Seahawks, #1 in scoring. They had the most interceptions during the regular season, most takeaways, and they get one here.
Yeah, Cliff Averill is the one who applies the pressure, and Peyton Manning feels that, and he unloads it. He has Julius Thomas open, but one of those balls that you see from time to time from Peyton Manning, you expected it if the conditions were worse than they are. Conditions aren't a factor. Cam Chancellor, who usually is down around the line of scrimmage, does not play center field as much. They mix it up, and he was in a perfect position then to make the play.
Seattle has ridden that defense to the Super Bowl, and the defense off to a fast start. From the 37, handoff is to Harvin. Harvin got a block, got the edge, and a first down as he picks it up, getting it inside the 25, a carry of 14 yards.
They've run that now a couple times, and they've had some success with it. And Doug Baldwin, the wide receiver, he does a good job here on Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie that allows Percy Harvin to get on that corner.
First down at the 22. Wilson, tight end made the catch. Irving on the stop, a gain of 5. That was Luke Wilson, the rookie, 5th-round pick out of Rice. That's the end of the first quarter, and the Seahawks have, for the most part, what a difference. It's the 4th time in Super Bowl history a team didn't record a first down in the first quarter, and this is the 5th time the #1 defense takes on a #1 offense in Super Bowl history. The defense has won 3 of the 4 previous matchups. Seattle defense outstanding. Second down and 5, it's Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch is knocked down near the marker, picked up 5. On 2nd and 5, Malik Jackson was there for the stop. First down, Seattle.
Well, that matchup, Joe, coming into this game is clearly what everybody was talking about. A resounding win by Seattle defensively in that first quarter. Right now, this drive right here for Seattle offensively is important. They're 0 for 2 in the red zone. They've dominated the first quarter of this game, and they need to take advantage of these opportunities while that offense of Denver's is struggling.
On first down, it's Lynch. Play was strung out and a good play. Play made by Trevathan. Danny made it. He was the top tackler on this Denver Broncos defense in a loss of 1.
Yeah, Danny Trevathan, he's been one of the few guys that they could really count on all season long. Just one of 2 players on the defensive side, Terrence Knighton being the other one that started all 16 games. So he's been a dependable performer. Makes a nice play.
There's the 0 for 2 in the red zone as far as getting it into the end zone. Lynch, 7 carries, 11 yards. That's it to start his day. On 2nd down, pass caught. Baldwin ripped to the ground by Paris Lennon. Gain of 7.
And the difference right now, Joe, as we know, is just how good Seattle has been on this down. They have won on 3rd down. You can look at a lot of football games, and once you get beyond takeaways and turnovers, 3rd down is usually what decides who wins these games.
They're 4 for 6. Third down and 4. Wilson out to his right. End zone pass is incomplete with a flag. Tony Carter gave a shove to Golden Tate and never got his head around. And it is pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 32. The foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
So now 1st and goal from the 1. Tony Carter, who was benched after the first 5 games, guilty of pass interference.
Yeah, he never gets turned around. He's got his hands in his chest. On Golden Tate, that's an easy call for the official to make. And Tony Carter, as you said, he struggled early in the year. He wasn't really a part of this defense. He was primarily a special teams player, and he keeps this drive alive with pass interference.
It's Lynch. And Lynch brought down short of the end zone. Got half a yard, 2nd and goal. Marshawn Lynch, who was traded from the Buffalo Bills back in 2010. Ooh. And close. You don't know if the knee was down or something else was down as he made that reach. 2nd and goal. Lynch again. He's in for the touchdown.
Defensive right side. There's initially a surge and contact that holds up Marshawn Lynch, but then just nobody there to finish him off. And Marshawn Lynch, one of the more powerful runners in all of football, is able to punch it in.
Hawks off the turnover. The extra point makes it 15-0. They've gone field goal, and now after the pick. Thrown by Manning. Minutes left. First half. Points off the turnover after the Cam Chancellor interception. 7-play drive capped on the 1-yard touchdown run by Marshawn Lynch. The Denver Broncos, they're not used to this. Down 15, largest first half deficit this season. 19 points. They suffered their first loss in the hands of Andrew Luck in the Indianapolis Colts. So Hauschka will kick it away. Holiday's trying to return 1. Going to get a chance here. To the 15, that's it. Just swarmed Cam Chancellor downfield to make the stop. And it will go as a 17-yard return. To the 15-yard line. Are you ready for the biggest concert of the year? Stay tuned for Bruno Mars with special guests, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the Pepsi Super Bowl 48 halftime show. Get hyped for halftime. And Chancellor, who was in on that tackle, is down. The hard-hitting, strong safety who already has an interception and a big hit on Demaryius Thomas in this game.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons why the Seattle special teams has been as good as they've been, as they do play some of these starters on those units. Cam Chancellor on the ground, and what a blow this would be if he's unable to continue.
The other half of that great safety duo for the Seahawks, Earl Thomas was the interested observer, but Chancellor looks to be all right. As Peyton Manning, I mean, what have we seen here so far? What's going on with the Denver offense, the Seattle defense?
Well, what we've seen so far, Joe, is this Seattle defense is just playing at a faster clip than Denver is offensively. We know how Seattle plays when they're in Seattle, but they're a fast-flowing defensive unit, and they have just come out here and played at a much faster level than we've seen from the Broncos.
Quick throw, pass is caught. That's Thomas. And a nice gain on first down of 6 yards. Demaryius Thomas, one of the most prolific offenses in NFL history, has had 3 possessions so far, 11 yards. Safety, a punt, an interception. The starting field position has been lopsided as well. 2nd and 4. Quick throw. Pass caught. That's Demaryius Thomas. Can't get it. Swarming defense. Byron Maxwell, who made 5 regular season starts, took over out of that right corner spot, made the stop.
It's a great job by Byron Maxwell. You see the double team there, and then Welker tries to come off, but he's unable to. This, in addition to being fast and relentless defensively, they understand situational football, Joe. They know what offenses are trying to do against them, and they react to that better than anybody in football.
Now 3rd down and 1. It's Moreno, and Knowshon's got a first down. And the first down of the game comes with just over 10.5 minutes left in the first half for Denver.
Yeah, they needed that too. And the 3rd and short, they get a nice double team to the play side. They pull left guard Zane Beadles. He cleans it up. Big first down for Denver.
Logan left the whole way. Thomas made the catch. Maxwell on the stop, a gain of 7. Demaryius Thomas, Eric Decker, the young, big wide receivers for the Denver Broncos. 2 of the main reasons why Peyton Manning wanted to come to Denver leading into last year.
Yeah, they really hadn't done much either, but he saw enough of them, even though they were a running offense at that time. And boy, did he prove to be right.
Here's Moreno again. And Knowshon has got a first down.
I do know, and Joe, in visiting with Peyton Manning, he said, I'd sure like to have Knowshon Moreno have a good game and have everybody talking about him when this game's over, because it will mean that we've run the ball effectively.
The official on the far side ran in across the 40. The official on the near side runs in inside the 40, and it's 3rd and about 2 inches. Is caught, and a lunge trying to get the first down. Demaryius Thomas, depends on the spot.
Almost
it is enough for a first down.
Yeah, almost a huge mistake by Demaryius Thomas, because when he caught the ball, he should have picked that first down up easily if he just gets going up the field. There's nobody there. And instead, he decides he wants to try to bounce it and almost gave up the first down.
KJ Wright out there to make the play. First down at the 40 for Denver. Manning downfield overshoots Demaryius Thomas. So you've got Demaryius Thomas, who is 6'3", 229. Eric Decker, 6'3", 214. And Julius Thomas, 6'5", 250.
Well, that should get Earl Thomas's attention, Joe, because I know in visiting with him, he was questioning a little bit the arm strength of Peyton Manning and hadn't seen him really go downfield much in the postseason, on the deep post, on the deep go routes, and he was beat. I mean, if he was able to make a little bit better throw, if you're able to get inside, but Earl Thomas was not playing deep enough on that ball.
On 2nd down, they set up a screen. Monte ball brought down from behind. And good play up front. Clinton McDonald was there. Michael Bennett as well. A gain of just 1.
Michael Bennett gets in on that tackle, and he has been outstanding throughout this season. Led the team in sacks. Has had a terrific postseason. He's a matchup problem wherever he lines up.
Chancellor back in there. 3rd and 9. Blitz. Manning has got Welker. First down inside the 45.
The biggest difference on this play, Joe, is the protection that Peyton Manning gets. They bring pressure, but the Broncos pick it up. Gets hit right after he delivers it, but he's able to hold the ball long enough to allow Wes Welker to work the route. and create some separation against Walter Thurman. And I know Peyton Manning liked that matchup. Wes Welker against Walter Thurman coming into this game.
16-yard completion. Pass is caught. That's Demaryius Thomas, and on first down, a nice game. Michael Bennett out there to make the stop, and you can see the official come in, and he's going to place the ball inches shy of a first down, so second and inches.
Boy, second and inches, and Peyton Manning is a quarterback, and they're starting to find their rhythm, but there's a lot of plays at your disposal with second and inches, including taking a shot downfield.
Instead, he hands off. That's Montee Ball, and Montee Ball might have lost half a yard. Cliff Averill on the stop, and now second and inches just became third and a yard.
Yeah, Orlando Franklin, he makes no block on Cliff Averill.
To Montee Ball, and Montee Ball picks it up. That is 3 conversions on third down and 1 on this drive, and this time it's the rookie out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Walter Thurman, he crashes the edge, and he gets a hit on Montee Ball before he gets to the first down marker, and we've seen some third and shorts here on this drive, and none of them have been easy.
First and 10. Penalty flag flies, as does the pass, incomplete. Well, the flag is thrown. It's against Denver.
Tripping. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Sometimes you try to do things and you hope the official won't catch them. They're not going to miss this.
Taking down Red Bryant on his way to Peyton Manning. Red Bryant, who has been around since 2008. Now first and 20 with the ball back just outside the 42. Screen for Tammy, the tight end, and what a play made. That was Mebane, who's been up front with Red Bryant. Mebane's been here since 2007 with the Seahawks, a loss of 2.
And that's what I'm talking about, Joe, as far as the relentless effort by the entire Seattle defense. Brandon Mebane is rushing the quarterback, and he continues to play. And you've also got Malcolm Smith out there. That's just an outstanding play by Brandon Mebane, purely on effort.
High snap, hand up to Moreno. And Moreno took it to the 35 on second and 22. He got 9.
Well, Seattle actually does have a different look defensively. The first time tonight we've seen 2 deep safeties here on second and long. They're able to get a nice little run out of it. You don't see that very often by the Seattle defense.
Third down and 13. Manning gets hit. Ball up for grabs. Picked off by Smith. Malcolm Smith. All alone. No flags. Touchdown, Seattle.
drives him right back into Peyton Manning. Ball comes up, and then you've got Malcolm Smith, who makes a play on the ball. The receiver in the area, he does not come back to the football. Malcolm Smith does. Another huge defensive play by this Seattle team.
Another takeaway. That's the second of this first half for the team that led the league. And Malcolm Smith, who was there at the right place at the right time to end the game against San Francisco in the championship game. The deflection by Richard Sherman was waiting and then took it 69 yards with a touchdown, and it's 22-0. So finally, a long drive. They had converted 4 times on 3rd down, but not the 5th. Second pick thrown by coverage provided by Bud Light. Talk about Denver and the fast break offense and the up tempo. Seattle's been the faster team in this game, and their defense, no points allowed, and they've scored 9. Denver needs something desperately here before the half. They had something going, and then the pick 6. Here's Holiday. This might get him started out across the 30, but the ball comes out. Knocked out by Maragos. It looked like Seattle got on it. And it belongs to the Seahawks. Trendon Holiday with a return out across the 35. Maragos. That ball comes out late. It's a turnover, so it will be reviewed. The right forearm of Holiday is down. And we'll have to wait and see if this stands. Again, here's another look at it.
Looks like his right knee there, Joe, might even be down as well. And forearm, and this is, as you said, very close.
So they'll look at it. The ball is out across the 30. Marked down at the 33. And boy, the Denver Broncos want to feel good about themselves at all going in at halftime. They need something to happen right now. Pass complete. Another underneath throw. This one to the tight end, Julius Thomas, a gain of 5.
They desperately need to get something going, Joe. And again, just watching this first half, and it just, you watch Seattle defensively. They're flying around. They're playing a physical game, and Denver offensively just has failed to match that.
Fake the handoff. Manning steps up to the sideline and got away. Decker the intended target. And that ball floated from Peyton Manning. It's 3rd and 5. There's Commissioner Roger Goodell out in the seats on this warmer than expected night at MetLife. 3rd down and 5. Is caught by Demaryius Thomas. And one of the best throws we've seen from Peyton Manning, a completion of 18 yards.
Yeah, it sure is. It's a back shoulder fade. Demaryius Thomas on Byron Maxwell, and a perfect throw by Peyton Manning, and a throw that Peyton said he will not attempt to make against Richard Sherman.
7 catches already for Thomas. Pass was thrown flat-footed and caught by Wes Welker, who's playing in his 3rd Super Bowl. Has yet to win one, a gain of 5. And we're coming up on 2 minutes left. Denver 2 timeouts. They get a snap before 2 minutes. Manning, pass caught. First down inside the 30, Julius Thomas. And the Broncos doing exactly what they had to do after the touchdown by Malcolm Smith. It's a first down. Down by 22. Play action. Manning. Pass is incomplete. Broncos looking for a flag, and they don't get it. Julius Thomas was working on Earl Thomas. No flag, a lot of contact.
Yeah, I think there should have been a flag here, Joe. Julius Thomas coming across, and then Earl Thomas, he is there, and he cuts off the throw. And the difference that we've seen when Peyton Manning has had time in the pocket, which hasn't been often, he's been able to make some throws. We saw it to Julius Thomas earlier. But we've also seen Cliff Avril influence a couple interceptions.
Blitz off the edge. Manning gets it to Moreno. And Moreno was tackled from behind by Tony McDaniel. A gain of 6. Here's Eli Manning in a luxury suite in his home stadium, watching his big brother Peyton. Down by 22. 2 timeouts left. 3rd down and 4.
False start. Offense. Number 65. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's Vasquez, the right guard. Makes it 3rd and 9. And there it was.
3rd and 4 is tough enough. Now you're 3rd and 9. At 3rd and 4, you know, I start asking, well, is he going to look at this as 4-down territory? And that would depend then or influence what you do on 3rd down. But now 3rd and 9, not so much.
Manning steps up, out to his right, throws across the field, pass caught. That's Noshawn Moreno, but he's tackled short of a 1st down as we wind down toward a minute left. How about Cliff Avril? As a timeout is taken here by Seattle, a guy who was on an 0-16 Lions team back in 08.
Well, he does a heck of a job here, Joe, and he drives right through Orlando Franklin. He influenced the 1st interception. He caused the 2nd interception, and they brought him in this year because of the injury in the playoff game when they beat Washington to Chris Clemens, and not sure really what his status was with the knee surgery. And Cliff Avril has been everything that they had hoped he would be when they brought him in.
Boy, he's made some plays today, and now it's 4th down and 2. Going forward to the Broncos. Manning. Pass might have been tipped. It's incomplete. Taking over the Seahawks. Clemens with pressure. And a frustrating half for Peyton Manning. A turnover on downs. Is talking to his offensive line on the bench. Now 2nd and 6. Lynch again.